welcome back to my channel. This is Baker Like Anita, and I am a baker based in Johannesburg, and I run a bakery at home called Zimtoti Bakery. Please make sure to check it out online. Now, I've been away from YouTube for about some time. It doesn't really matter how long, but the point is that I'm back, and there are a few changes that I think I wanted to share with everyone who's been following the channel since I started. For the past 2 years, I've kind of changed my lifestyle. Yes, I'm vegetarian. I'm not taking any dairy or any kind of animal products in that sense. So yeah, my conundrum that I was facing was how to run a bakery without dairy, specifically like eggs was my biggest challenge, but I think I have overcome that, and overcoming it still, it's always a learning journey. But yeah, I just wanted to share that update. I'm sure those who follow me on Instagram at Baker Like Anita know about this journey and have seen me kind of growing and changing a little bit. So it's involved a lot of experimentation, and a lot of what I thought I knew about baking was questioned, and I had to disregard all my preconceived ideas about what goes into a cake. I've become much more aware of how baking is a science. I know I used to not agree with that because of the fact that it sounds a bit exclusive, like it's for a certain kind of person. But yeah, science is a kind of art, which is something that I'm also learning and embracing, which is quite fun. So yeah, I've just been learning a lot about what goes into a cake, why you put certain ingredients, and what the properties, for example, of an egg are. Like, why do we use an egg in baking? And finding out that you don't really need the egg, but rather the properties that the egg does, for example, like binding or helping the cake to rise or making the cake fluffy. So they're all kind of substitutes for all of these different elements that an egg would normally do. Yeah, so it's gotten quite technical, which is something I like because I'm generally quite a technical, detail-oriented person who likes to understand things. So yeah, I feel like I've just been flung much deeper into this world of baking, which is quite exciting. So this was not without influence, obviously. I think I was also on my own personal journey, and then I met an amazing group of people who are now my very close friends, who operate at the drill hall and running a non-profit organization that's really about promoting a healthy lifestyle and really about the kind of tools that you need in living a healthy lifestyle, especially in a city context. So yeah, being exposed to Exotically Divine and all the incredible like adventures we've been on, and all the learnings, the experiments, the growing we've done together, just being exposed to different communities and different contexts has really opened my mind up to the world of food, and learning from them has been so incredible, especially because they were running a vegetarian restaurant specifically focusing on indigenous foods. So yeah, that includes like having your cassava and plantain and yams and a lot of coconuts, which is something that I've been using a lot in my cakes lately, which is exciting. But yeah, it's a big lifestyle change, and I think I'm in a space now where I can share a bit more about that on this platform, delving deeper into my lifestyle as a baker and just all the learnings and all the experiments that I'm into, and the different ingredients that I'm using now that are quite different, and ingredients that I think are more intentional. That's the word that I'm looking for. Intentional ingredients of why am I doing this? What's the purpose behind putting this in? And maybe how can it help my body as well? That's also a big part of my cakes now. So this is a quick bread recipe that I always do for like when I'm making dinner or even lunch, which is what I'm doing now. I think it's like 4 p.m. but I'm having lunch at 4. So yeah, let's get into this quick recipe and let me just share a little bit about how I make this quick bread. That's what I'll call it. So this is my mixture of dry ingredients. This is pearl millet that I have in my hand at the moment. I like to use it these days because I'm experimenting more with gluten-free products, but more especially ancient African grains. So this is one of those, and I've added some black seeds, black pepper, and yeah, here are the black seeds. That's my dry mixture, and to that I'm just going to add the wet ingredients. I have this oat milk that I made just by blending oats and water. That's another thing, like just learning about plant-based milk and really understanding why we have milk in cakes, which is now a mystery to me because I still haven't figured out what is unique about milk that makes a cake work. So I haven't proven that. My theory is that you don't need milk to bake a cake. I've made a video about that on TikTok, and I really do believe that because I've been using, this is basically water and oats, and I basically blend it together for a couple of seconds. Then there's that residue, you can leave that out, but I'm gonna incorporate some of it because we're making bread. I think it's okay. And then to this plant milk, basically we want to make it into a buttermilk. And so normally what you would do, you would either buy buttermilk, like maybe amasi works as buttermilk, but also to make buttermilk you can use apple cider vinegar, and this will basically help to thicken the milk. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to add like 2 tablespoons. Then that wasn't a good idea. Then after I've added this, I'm going to leave it to sit for like 10-15 minutes until it curdles, but it's usually quick, and because oats are also quite thick, it's gonna happen quite quickly. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave that to curdle while I mix my dry ingredients together. So yeah, that's how you make your buttermilk. Basically any plant milk that you have, even if you're using like soy milk or oat milk, almond milk, anything that you have or anything that you can make. I prefer to make it actually because these plant-based milks are also quite expensive, but let's not get into that today. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, you can also use a few drops of lemon juice. That's also the classic way, but I really like this because it also helps the cake to rise, actually the bake. I must stop saying cake because I'm not making a cake today, I'm making bread. I'm not pouring all of it, just seeing how much I need. So I've used a combination of different flours, but you can obviously just use normal cake flour. I added a bit of oil for the moisture and then added a bit more of the milk. So this is based on how you are feeling the dough, but this was quite soft, which I wanted to maintain. I didn't want like a really tough or dense bread, which is what pearl millet or other gluten-free flours can tend to be quite dense. So I wanted to keep it quite light. That's why I was also mixing with the wooden spoon so that I don't put too much pressure on it. So I just mixed all the ingredients until they really start to come together, and the dough is gonna be quite sticky, but I turned it over onto a floured working surface where I can knead it for about 3 to 5 minutes. So as I'm kneading here, I'm incorporating a bit more of the flour that was on the working surface, because like I said, my dough was quite sticky. So this is the final result of how the bread looks. I think it looks great. It's cracked a little bit on the side and the bottom, I mean. But that's okay. I'm just gonna wait for it to cool down before I slice into it. Please show some love for my first video back on YouTube by liking and commenting what you would like to see on this channel. And yeah, I think I'm glad to be back and happy to be in a space to be creating again. So I will see you soon. Bye bye.